Okay, here comes part two. I went ahead and turned the machine around and put it in its normal spot, or a more easily accessible spot to show what's going on. We'll get the front opened up here, and since the back is kind of explained, we'll explain the front here. I guess what we'll start with here is the control panel. It's pretty much a dead factory look to it, except that there's a gap in between here from where I put the control panel and the front piece here. The front piece, as I said, slides out to reveal the hidden keyboard and mouse, and it's just on hinges. You can lift it up a little bit and it comes right off, and that's all there is to it, is this front piece here. And I'll set it aside, and let me go ahead and put these up, and I'll explain the coin door. Now, since I was going for kind of an authentic look, I went ahead and put a coin door in here too. The coin door is a fully functioning coin door, but being that I'm not really ever in the foreseeable future going to use it as a coin door, I just kind of put it here in the middle of the front piece. There's no trap underneath to catch the coins, but it is a functioning coin door. I can set the controls to use the coin door, or what I have now is I just have, when you press the player 1 or player 2 start, it not only starts the game but it adds a coin. So the coin door isn't working right now, but it does function. And lower this down here. Now the control panel, there's a latch underneath here on the left and a latch underneath here on the right. I'm going to reach up underneath here and lift it up so we can show you the underside of the control panel. And this just lifts up off of here. I'll set it like this here. And you can see that there's one latch, the other one's back here. But I'll lean this forward and turn around here. Now the way this is wired up is, I got this JPAC-ish type of board here. It's got 9 little separate PCB wires that all run to the different controls and the different buttons, and it interfaces with the keyboard. The keyboard plugs into here, and this connector runs down and plugs into the back of the computer. And this board you can program through MAME to set each button to do different functions. For instance, if I press player 1 start here, since it interfaces with the keyboard, the computer thinks I'm pressing button R, or letter R. And I'll explain more of that now that you've seen what it is and how it works and what it's for. I'm going to put the control panel back in place, latch it back down, put the keyboard back in the front piece, put the front piece back in, and I'll explain how that actually operates here. I'm going to set this right here. Okay. Alright, that's that. Now that that's all back together, what we're going to do, I'll explain this here real quick. I don't have any volume control knobs, buttons, or any of that stuff here on the machine. The machine's just, you wouldn't be able to tell from looking at it that it's not a factory machine. Now my volume controls are right here on the keyboard. I purchased a keyboard that has volume controls on it, so when I slide the front piece out here, I can control the volume right here, so there's no knobs or dials or buttons. It's a lot more convenient and gives a more factory look. I'll demonstrate here. You start the game. There's no sound, you just press down on volume up. There's our volume. Down, up. Now the way this works normally is, let me shut this light off here. On the keyboard, you press tab. Let me turn the volume down here. On the keyboard, you press tab. It brings up your on-screen display here. You can use the joystick, or you can use up-down keys. I prefer the joystick. You go to the input for this game, you press your enter key. Enter brings up your menu here, and here's where you choose what controls and what buttons do what. For instance, if I want to reprogram player 1 up, you press enter on the keyboard, and then you press whatever key you want to be up. In this case, I'll just press up here. When you press up, there, it's programmed. That's what that little board does, and that board is also available at ultimark.com. Now the thing with these components is I purchased all these about 2 years ago, so they might have upgraded or have different things available now. But these, if they still have these, they'll work pretty good. And that pretty much explains how you can control and program your buttons for your joysticks and your other things and whatever you want it to work for. And let's go through some of these other options here. You have input general. Input general, you can program so no matter what game you play, the controls will all be the same. Now, being that different games have different buttons, like if high punch, for instance in this game is high punch, if you program it to Street Fighter 2, if you set your input general as high punch being button 1, however in Street Fighter 2 button 1 is like fierce kick, it's not going to have the control set up right. So I just choose to go through and do each input for each game, or input this game. And dip switches are what you use, press enter here, to control whether you have a track sound, turn all your different functions on and off. It's on each PCB, if a physical PCB, they have dip switches that allow you to control how much the coinage is, how many coins you have to use to play the game. Different functions like that. Free play is for instance. Escape travels back to the main menu. And there's all your other options, but like I say, that pretty much is a tutorial on how you can use the JPAC deal to program your keyboard. So that takes care of that. And I'll turn the light back on here. We'll open up the front. Close the door back. And the front here I don't have locked. So let's see. Alright, here's the back of the coin door. It's got a coin counter that I have hooked up that works. And here's my connection for the monitor that allows me to change brightness, contrast, horizontal, vertical sync, things like that. Some monitors have it mounted to the PCB on the actual monitor, PCB, I should say chassis, sorry. And some of them have this little remote control panel that works real nice. You just open the front, I can change how the monitor appears through right here. And well, you really can't make it out too well because of the lights not shining on it. But there's my 10-inch sub. Sounds pretty good. I can give you a demonstration. I don't know how well it'll sound over this camera here, but there's my power supply that runs the amplifier. And then you got my CD-ROM there mounted horizontally, or I should say vertically, sorry. The hard drive's horizontal. And it's all screwed into the side of the cabinet. And that's pretty much everything here on the front. I really don't know what else to say. Everything should be explained, and if you have any questions, feel free to comment and I'll do my best to answer them. And that's pretty much it. Now, I'm going to add here at the end that a good majority of MAME cabinets are all different. They have MAME cabinets that come already ready to assemble. You just screw them together and add your components and that's it. There's no real craftsmanship or pride and professionalism that went into the build of the machine. But this application works for me. I built it a couple years ago, and when the technology was still fairly new as far as for what's going into these machines. So like I say, your machine may be different. If you want to go with a different application, I would recommend going to ultimark.com, ULTIMARC, and check out what they got. They got a lot of good stuff, and it's fairly simple, cut and dry. You don't got to be an electronic genius to figure it all out. Everything that you get comes with instructions. And you got an old empty cabinet, you can throw all this stuff in there, get yourself a new monitor. You go to HAP controls and get new buttons, joysticks, and you'll be on your way. Thanks for watching, and any questions, feel free to ask.